Hi, my loves. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome back to my podcast if you're listening there. For those of you who are new here, welcome. My name is Micaela. I'm a hypnotherapist and spiritual mentor. I'm incredibly passionate about sharing insights and guidance that I'm receiving on my own personal healing and awakening journey to hopefully help you feel a little bit less alone on your own journey and provide you with some clarity moving forward. So today I'm going to be diving into a question that I get asked a lot on my videos, and before I get into that question, I just want to share why it's important. So at the basis of all of my videos, I've been talking about how I was on a manifestation journey for several years, wanting to attract all of these changes in my life. But no matter what I did, I couldn't see positive results from that. I would either manifest something that would end up feeling really unfulfilling or just kind of like a lesson in my life, or I wasn't able to manifest the changes at all. And so I started to dig a little bit deeper, and I realized that in order to make positive changes in our lives, we have to be in a state of connection to ourselves, and we have to truly be able to process and transmute any old stagnant energies and emotions that are lingering in our bodies, usually from having experienced trauma as a child or even in a past life. We often have patterns that we hold and beliefs that we hold that are rooted in emotions we haven't been able to process and rooted in disconnection from ourselves. And when we're in a space of disconnection from ourselves, our ego takes over and tries to get us to chase after manifestations and goals and outcomes in our lives that will usually end up in a lesson, or we won't actually be able to attract those things because we're energetically repelling them away. And so in order to get to a place where you are truly magnetic and attracting what you truly want to experience, what will be the most fulfilling to you, what is actually aligned for you at a soul level, we have to be able to clear and process those emotions so that we can start to detach from outcomes, not feel so like we need those things to survive in that energy, and also get really clear on who we truly are and what we truly want beyond our ego desires. And so today I'm going to talk about the process of being able to process your own emotions and to be able to identify honestly how you're feeling instead of just trying to talk yourself out of it. So often we just try to rush through life, and in the process of doing that, we ignore how we feel, and we're trying to change our outer circumstances in order to feel differently internally when we really need to go about it in the opposite way. So for me, it was really challenging to learn how to process my emotions because I did not feel safe to be with myself in the present moment. I did not feel safe to really check in with myself and let myself be where I was. And so in order to start to create that safety, I had to start actively trying to speak to myself in a loving and compassionate way in order to rebuild trust with myself. Every single time I speak about that, I see the image of like picking up an abandoned dog or cat on the side of the road who maybe has been ignored or not fed for a while, maybe abused, and you like put them in like a crate and you're trying to get them to come out and receive love from you and get the healing that they need or get the food that they need, but they're afraid. They're afraid to come out because they don't trust you yet. They don't know that you're not going to hurt them. So that's how I see within me my emotional, sad, scared, inner child self in the beginning of when I'm trying to do this healing work, and I'm still in the middle of creating this safety. So what does that part of us need? It needs our patience. It needs our consistency. It needs us to be unconditionally compassionate and loving as we wait for them to start to feel safe again. Any rush in this process is going to come with this feeling of it's not safe for me to feel how I feel. It's not safe for me to be who I am. And so I'm just going to shut down. And that leads these emotions to be kind of locked away inside of us. So in order for these emotions to start coming up, we have to continuously, daily, start reaching out our hand without pressure. And the way that we do this is by fully being okay with whatever emotional state we're in and learning how to give ourselves what we need in that state. For me, quite often, I would check in with myself when I woke up in the morning and I wanted to be able to like cry and process and feel anger, or have it just move through me because I didn't want to be holding on to it anymore. But I actually couldn't feel anything. All I felt was frozen. I felt completely shut down. And then I realized that being frozen is an emotional state. Being frozen is a state of being completely overwhelmed by what you're actually feeling, to the point where in order to survive, you shut down everything. You numb out, you make it so you can't feel. So often at the beginning of this journey where we're learning to process emotions, all we feel is frozen. And I want to reassure you that there's nothing wrong with you if you do feel frozen. And in that frozen state, I learned from my amazing mentor, Siobhan. Shout out to Siobhan. She's the best. I learned you need to just give yourself love and accept that you're in that state. And through that acceptance and through that compassion, you will start to thaw out. But in order to thaw out, you need to feel safe. So what that looked like for me was rubbing my hand on my heart in the morning or whenever I felt frozen and saying, I know. I understand why you're scared to feel. I know you have a lot going on. I understand. Speaking to yourself lovingly and just saying, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm here when you're ready. I'm going to always be here for you. And I love you and I see you. I see that you're struggling. Just holding yourself, you can rub your arms, cradle yourself, rock back and forth. Just give yourself that constant love and compassion. That is going to help you to thaw out. There could be some times when you wake up in that frozen state or throughout the day you feel frozen and you do that and you don't really feel much of a shift. But I would encourage you to trust that over time it will make a huge difference when you start to connect to yourself consistently. And I know because I've experienced that. I'm in the middle of continuing that process, but I know that since I started this type of work, I feel drastically different and drastically more connected to myself. I still have a ways to go with it, and that's okay. I'm learning how to feel safe when I'm in the middle of my journey, which is something that I never felt before. So I want you to know that wherever you're at with this, it's so important to just accept it and to know you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And you're watching this video because you are meant to take that next step. It doesn't have to be a drastic overnight change. You don't have to be sobbing and crying and experiencing all of the emotions all at once. That would be overloading for your body. Your body is incredibly wise, and that is why this frozen mode is activated. So maybe even love on your body a little and say, thank you for protecting me. Thank you for helping me survive what I've been through in my life. I wouldn't have been able to survive if I had to feel it all, because you likely didn't have the safety or the tools to be able to process all of these emotions, and maybe now you do, but it's important to do so slowly. Another way that we can start to build connection with ourselves is by looking at ourselves in the eye, in the mirror. People say the eyes are the window to the soul. So if you stare at yourself in one eye or the other, it's hard to stare into both. Pick an eye and just start saying, I love you. Just start. Even if it feels scary or weird or like it's not working, just trust. Your mind is going to try to tell you it's not working, so don't listen to that and keep trusting, keep doing this work. The other state that you might find yourself in is fight or flight. Fight or flight to me is feeling just chronically afraid, like you have to keep moving really, really fast and doing a lot and moving just at the speediest pace in order to change your life, in order to make sure you're safe, make sure that you're secure. And what I want you to know about fight or flight is that it's not going to feel soothed by you holding yourself and going, it's okay, I'm here with you, I love you. Fight or flight to me is this built up energy of panic in the body. Panic from situations where you didn't feel safe, where you felt an overload of anger or rage or frustration or anxiety. all of that coming up to the surface creates this feeling of dysregulation in the body. And in order to process that emotion, we don't want to try to shut it down, because that's usually what leads to the buildup. Is over time, as a child, maybe you're told, quiet down, stop screaming, stop stomping around, don't throw a hissy fit, like keep it together. And in the trying to keep it together your whole life, all of these really high intensity emotions are built up inside of you. So what do you do to counteract that? You let yourself express it. If you wake up in fight or flight in the morning, or if you feel it at all throughout the day, maybe before bed, I invite you to start jumping up and down and throwing a hissy fit. Go for a run, bounce on a trampoline, punch the air, punch your pillows, do so safely, make sure you're listening to your body, but let yourself express. You could scream into a pillow, you could do anything that is meeting yourself at the energy level that is coming out of you. Like this is really intense energy. So trying to slow down and take deep breaths is actually going to dysregulate you more, because you're shutting it down again. So in all of the emotions that are going to come up, you want to fully embrace them and not tell yourself that anything is wrong with you for what you're experiencing, but say, I believe you, and I know that you are always valid in everything you feel. Even if we can't explain it, even if we think it's for no reason. An emotion that comes up for no reason is actually an emotion that we probably suppressed a while back that is being reactivated in the moment. Everything that you feel is valid. And that is probably one of the most important things for you to know in this process, is that if you try to invalidate yourself by questioning, why am I even feeling this? This doesn't make any sense. That is a programming that helped you to continue to stay disconnected from yourself and likely more obedient or, socially acceptable. It's not seen as socially acceptable to always have random outbursts as an adult, but we wouldn't have these outbursts if we just let these emotions move through us as needed. And if we just saw that as normal, we wouldn't have this overflow of panic and anxiety that leads us to do absolutely insane things. So those are the two states that I would encourage you to be able to identify when you are first beginning the emotional healing and regulation process. Because always allowing yourself to be where you are, never seeing yourself as wrong or broken because maybe you're not feeling in the way you think you should, overriding that narrative and fully accepting and embracing and being there with yourself and saying, I see you, I'm here with you, I'm holding you, and I'm not going anywhere. That is going to help you to feel safe again. That is going to get the little abandoned puppy or kitten in the back of the cage to start crawling towards you. And maybe taking a little bit of what you have to offer, taking some of your love, and slowly but surely getting back to a more healthy and regulated place where maybe some more emotions are going to start to come through. And there are many rituals that I recommend for emotional processing, but I think that is kind of the first stage, is learning how to regulate your nervous system more to be able to tolerate some of the unprocessed feelings within you. And I would encourage you not to try to force emotions to come through, but to simply be with yourself. The other thing that I would suggest in that beginning stage is, if you have access to it, and if you can, finding somebody who can hold loving and compassionate space for you. Because often we need that presence of another person in the beginning when we are not yet that safe space for ourselves. You can do both of those processes for fight or flight or holding yourself when you're in freeze mode, and that will be supportive as well if you don't feel like you want to open up to somebody else. But I do think a huge part of what we're meant to experience here on earth is being held by somebody. Knowing that we're not alone within ourselves, but also physically and tangibly. And so I would encourage you, if you're in the beginning of this process, to continue to try to reach out for support. And if you don't have that support system yet, I would encourage you to tell the universe you're ready. Maybe write down, the way that they tell you to do for like manifesting a partner. Manifest your ideal therapist or mentor. Write down their characteristics, how they hold you, how they speak to you, how you feel when you're with them. And ask to be shown, because that is a manifestation that is absolutely in alignment, and it is something that will come to you very easily when you do open yourself up to receive it. I would encourage you to get really clear on the type of mentor or therapist or person that you want to hold you in that. Maybe it'll show up as a friend who's able to hold you and wants to be there for you. Just trust that it will come. If you feel guided to do that, I highly encourage you to, because that is something that has helped me immensely. I know that I still have a hard time always holding myself in some of the heavier things that come up for me. And when I verbally process out loud, I can really deepen into what's going on for me and kind of get out of the frozen place or confusion in my mind. You can also do this by speaking out loud to yourself, but I find it to be a little bit more effective with somebody else. So I highly encourage that. Beyond going to seek a mentor, once you feel emotionally regulated enough within yourself to start to process some of these experiences and past traumas or feelings that are stuck in your body, you want to start to get really clear about what you're feeling. When you're past the frozen part, when you're past that fight or flight stage, start to ask yourself, what am I feeling today? And you can speak it out loud, you can journal it, get clarity on what it is that you're feeling, and start to begin to physically move that emotion through you. You can do this in several ways. You can start to, if you're feeling angry, say what you want to say to that person, or fully express yourself. Like I said, scream into a pillow, thrash your arms, shake your body, move that energy. If you're feeling sad, let yourself cry, hold yourself, caress yourself. Let these emotions move through you and just give yourself what you need. The most important thing is to be able to identify what you're feeling, and then identify what you need to hear, what you need to feel, and how that emotion wants to physically move through your body. Trust yourself in that process, and trust that you're not making any of this up. You are valid in what you're experiencing. That is the most important thing. And of course, beyond what I'm sharing, there are so many tools that are available to you out there. I highly, highly recommend EFT tapping, somatic shaking, breath work, journaling, all of these different tools that are available to us. Try them out and see which one suits your needs. See which one provides you with a feeling of connection to yourself and relief. And know that there is absolutely no rush. Make yourself feel safe to be where you are, and these emotions will come up. They will come up when you are ready. They will come up when you have created the safety for them to. And if you're not feeling safe enough to feel them yet, don't judge yourself. Be compassionate, because that is what opens the door for those emotions to start flowing through you again. The last thing that I want to share is that on this journey, you might sometimes feel like you have backtracked, because as you create more safety in your body, sometimes the heavier emotions start to come up. And you'll be like, why am I even doing this? I'm feeling worse, But trust that those emotions are coming up because you have made progress, because you have created more safety within yourself. So don't let your mind convince you you're backtracking at any given moment, and just ultimately trust yourself. Choose compassion and love when you are in doubt, and everything will start to come up, and you will start to feel so much clearer. You will start to feel so much more connected to yourself. And from that space, from that clear connection within you, you will start to see drastic changes in your life. You will start to feel your energy fully back in your body again. You will start to know what you want and know what you deserve, and feel like you're embodying that knowing and that energy to the point where you are magnetizing what you want in this life. So thank you so much for being here on my channel. Thank you so much for your endless support in the comments, and for sharing and liking my videos. It all means so much to me. Thank you so much again for watching, and I will see you in the next video.